The war has just begun. Those words have become terrifyingly more common over the past weeks and months when directed at the United States. Only this time they weren't spoken by some foreign-inspired terrorist movement. No, this was something quite homegrown. The war has just begun. Those were the words uttered as Ammon Bundy led a group taking over an area of the Malheur Wildlife Preserve in Oregon. That's right. Ammon Bundy, the son of Arizona rancher who led a similar standoff, though with far less ugly language, about a year and a half ago in Arizona, has now led a group of what he calls self-declared militia, taking over federal property in protest of the arrest and imprisonment of two ranchers. Now, here's where it is very much like one of those foreign-inspired movements. In fact, as provocative as this is, I believe this movement is very much like ISIS. Now, I get it. They are not as deadly. Not yet. Though similar militia movements have proved to be deadly in the past. It's like ISIS in one very profound way that we all need to be deeply attentive to and cautious about. Instead of thumping the Quran and saying the Quran gives us permission to do whatever we say the Quran says it says, Bundy and his followers thump the Constitution. They proudly declare that everything they are doing is justified because, why? The Constitution says so. Well, Mr. Bundy, the Constitution does not say so. In fact, the Constitution can be interpreted in many ways, and maybe in this case, Bundy and his followers are correct and the ranchers are being unfairly imprisoned. I don't know, but I do know this. The Constitution also assures there is a process that is meant to unfold, a process which these guys are surely not respecting. Now, I understand every revolution, including ones that we celebrate, has started in some manner or form like what Bundy is doing. But given the circumstances in the world today and the enemies the United States faces, to have ISIS-like thinking in the name of the United States Constitution is pretty darn terrifying. And it speaks to a larger problem. The idea of textual totalitarianism. The idea that any one small select group can fully own a sacred document, and that they and they alone, with no corrective mechanism, can determine what it means, not only for themselves but for others. That is a dangerous and ugly trend, whether it is done by ISIS 6,000 miles away, by militiamen following Ammon Bundy right here in the United States, or within any political or especially religious community that claims to own fully the most sacred texts that belong to them and others. Anytime that happens, bad things happen. Am I declaring that Sheikh Baghdadi and Ammon Bundy are one and the same? No, of course not. Am I declaring that they share a common sickness? I absolutely am.